Welcome into Final Thoughts. Right now, we're waiting on a few people to show up. Tonight's topic, life in poverty, guys. It's not easy. Um, Me and my friends are going through a rough time financially, which is it has inspired me to do this episode. So I hope you guys will come along with me. But for right now, we're going to wait for a few people to get in here. We're sitting here with Trollsbane. We got Chuck at our side. We got the hat on the head. We got the necklace around the neck. So, guys, let's go and enjoy a journey together. Hopefully, people will show up here real soon. Right now we're waiting on the arrival of the Turquoise Queen, and hopefully a few other of the knights will show up. That'll be an awesome thing. Now, for those of y'all who are new to these lives, I talk for 30 minutes for the first final thoughts episodes. I talk for the first 30 minutes of the episode about the topic. And then we spend the next 30 minutes either hanging out or discussing what I had just got through talking about. So I hope you guys will join us for that. If you arrive in the Discord, then we actually have an after group meeting talking about everything. So I hope to see you guys there too. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the chat. I hope you'll stay for a while, have a good conversation. Tonight, we're going to be talking about life in poverty. So I hope you'll stick around. We're waiting on a few other people. By all means, please leave a comment. My name is Clint Gage, and I try to spread wisdom and knowledge around the world and different other various forms of old school wisdom that may have been forgotten, or just no longer in practice. We're waiting on just a few more people, guys. I hope everyone is doing well in the meantime. Tell me how your day has went. Have you had a good morning? Have you had a good night? What's up, my Jen? There's my baby girl. The Turquoise Queen has arrived. All right, guys. Just a couple more people before we get started. Shouldn't be long now. I usually wait till about 5 or 6 people show up, and then I get started talking. So if you guys want to, please, by all means, share the live stream. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out around here. Oh, I'm glad to know you had a good day, my love. What's up, Pat God? How you doing? All right, guys. We got a few people in here. So as I explained in the beginning of the video, I talk for the first 30 minutes on my subject, and then we spend the next 30 minutes talking to each other about either the subject itself or just hanging out. So I hope you'll come along for me with the ride. No, I cannot play a banjo. So I am in the process of trying to find somebody to teach me how to play a fiddle, though. I do have one of those. Anyway, so back to the topic, guys. Life in poverty. All right, guys. This is something I know a little too much about. I've been there majority of my life. All right, so to say that I didn't start out with a little bit of privilege, it would be wrong. My grandfather owned a company. He helped my grandmother, and he helped my mother, and he made sure us kids were taken care of. Now, upon his death, however, is when poverty struck. All right, my mom no longer had help. She was working 3 jobs by herself, supporting 2 kids. And guys, that's very, very difficult, especially when one child is very demanding and has a lot of sports and stuff like that they play. So that's a lot of money, guys. And for a single mom, that's all very hard to do. And right now groceries are going up like crazy. There's 3 incomes in the household that I live in right now. Granted, I live in an RV in the front yard, but I help out the household in front of me. You know, I make sure that they have what they need. In exchange, they make sure I have what I need. Well, guys, we don't have enough. You know, right now, groceries are so expensive and gas is so expensive that we don't make enough money between the three of us to be able to afford gas and groceries. And guys, that's pitiful. You know, there's only one child in the house, and there's 3 adults. All 3 adults have an income. I am on a fixed income, right? Because I am handicapped. So is my friend in the wheelchair. You know, but his wife goes out and works. So we all 3 bring in an income. And guys, we can barely scrape by. You know, extracurriculars are so expensive. Yes, they are. You know, extracurriculars are very expensive. Y'all got a bad storm at 7:30, baby? I'm sorry. But anyway, so as I'm going along, you know, and sitting here telling you guys, you know, guys, I grew up having to sometimes make decisions. You know, and by make decisions, it was go to our dad's or have Christmas. You know, because my mom could only afford to either take us to our father's or have Christmas. You know, sometimes it was, you know, birthday or vacation. You know, we had to give up our birthdays in order to go on vacation sometimes. You know, and my mom would give us a choice, and she'd still try to do a little something for us. You know, guys, it wasn't like she would completely make us give up on it, but it was because she didn't think she could. So she would do what she knew she could do until she could figure something else out. Now, sometimes that made us wait. Sometimes that meant we had to wait until the weekend before we got to celebrate our birthday. But guys, we still got to celebrate it. We still got presents. We were still grateful, you know. So there was nothing wrong with those scenarios. And, you know, right now, things are getting so difficult everywhere, you know, where everybody's at. Things are getting so expensive and so difficult to afford that, you know, even a carton of eggs is now almost costing $10, guys, for just a simple 12 carton of eggs, a 1 dozen carton. That is getting pathetic, guys. And then, you know, we're almost up to $7 a gallon in some places here in Texas. You know, luckily it's not down here, but down here we're still looking at close to $4 in some places. Guys, that's expensive for some people, especially when you got something like a 4-wheel drive, like we have to have just to be able to get through our driveway. You know, because unfortunately our yard is a certain type of soil, and when it rains, it gets really sloppy, so it gets hard to get in and out of the driveway. But anyway, guys, we're trying to fix that. But you know, a life in poverty is never easy to get around, or you got to hustle all the time. You know, you got to find a way to get food for your family. You got to find a way to get what you need. And sometimes that includes letting go of things you've already got. Sometimes it includes, you know, maybe doing services outside of your job, you know, like going and cutting a tree down for somebody and getting paid for it, or going and clearing land for a person and getting paid for it. You know, under the table work, little side jobs, miscellaneous stuff. You know, you end up having to do that. You end up, you know, finding a buddy with a truck and a trailer, and y'all end up driving down and checking the creek beds and everything like that for trash and junk metal and everything like that, so you can throw it on a lowboy and take it to the junkyard and see if maybe you can make a little cash off of it. You know, these are things that... Did I see your comment? Hang on. Hello, how you doing, Izzy? I see hi. But you know about the rules. You know, and you know, I talk for the first little bit. What's up, Surfly? And simp for super soldiers, I am in Southeast Texas. But anyhow, so back to where we were. We a lot of times we have people that think that poor people are just lazy. Guys, that's not always the case. Sometimes people who live in poverty, they get dealt that hand from the beginning. I'm a prime example of that. When I first moved out of my parents' house, I was unprepared. I didn't know what I was doing, guys. And all I had was a student ID and a birth certificate, and a social security card. I didn't have nothing. I didn't know I had to have an address. I didn't know I had to have a phone number, all that stuff. All I knew is that, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get me a job and I'm going to get me my own place and I'm going to emancipate myself. That's what I thought I was going to do. No, guys, I ended up living in a tent for 6 years, catching all my food. Guys, there was times I starved. There was times I went without food for a long, long time. You ever not eaten for a week? Guys, you end up scarfing down whatever comes in front of you that's available. I've eaten bugs before, guys. I've eaten some stuff I'm not proud of. Some stuff that would make most people gag. But I was homeless. You got to do what you got to do to survive, guys. And bushcrafting sometimes calls for some disgusting stuff. Like eating grub worms, eating earthworms, eating slugs. They're easy prey that are readily available. Bugs are a high source of protein. So sometimes you end up having to go that route. Guys, and it not the best because the flavor is ooh. But when you got to, you got to, And guys, back in the Depression, when it first hit, my grandmother used to tell me stories about families down the road that had to sell their daughters to whorehouses just to be able to make ends meet so their daughters could eat. Guys, it wasn't because they wanted to, so their daughters could eat and they could feed the youngins for a little bit longer. She would tell me stories about stuff like that. It's because they couldn't afford to feed the other mouth and she couldn't afford to be out on her own because she didn't have any skills. Aside from cooking, she didn't know what to do. So they would sell them into prostitution. Guys, and that's a horrible, horrible thing. Nobody should have to go through that unless it's willing. But poverty makes people go through some rough times. Look at what famines have done to people. During the Russian famines, it was cannibalism. During the potato famine, half of Ireland died, almost. I'm not sure of the right number, but quite a large amount of people died in Ireland because of the potato famine. The ones that don't, they fled the country. But guys, life in poverty is nothing glamorous like they show on TV sometimes. Like, you watch that show Shameless, and it almost makes life in poverty look simple and easy. No, guys, it's not. It's hard. It's messy. It's sweaty. It's long hours. It's disappointment. It's a lot of problems, guys. And there's not really much you can do about it, but accept it and try to change what you can. Try to make your life better. And I've tried and I've tried. And yeah, I failed a lot. Normally because I'd end up having a seizure on the job. And this was before I realized I was an epileptic. And so I would get fired. So it was really hard for me to keep high paying jobs, because I had to call in from time to time. But eventually, I got diagnosed with epilepsy and schizophrenia, and the state of Texas was just like, you can't work no more. So they put me on disability, which sucks. I'm trying to get off. But, it's so much more expensive than what you would think, guys, because I remember whenever in the early 90s, whenever I was a kid, $100 got you damn near a whole month's worth of groceries. $200, you guaranteed you had a month. You know, that's all you needed. $200 and you could eat good for a month. You know, now $200 barely gets you 2 weeks. That is pathetic, guys. When you can go to a store and spend $100 and only buy 3 days worth of food, that is too expensive. What are we as the poor to do? Oh, well, there's food banks, there's programs. Guys, them food banks run out of food. Guys, them programs require you to meet certain criteria. And some people don't. Some people in poverty might not have their birth certificate anymore, or might not be able to get it. Some people in poverty might be felons and not be able to get that kind of help because they're a felon. You know, guys, so there's so many different aspects of poverty that make it so hard. You know, having children, having a family, that makes it very difficult. What are you going to do? How are you going to feed them? How are you going to clothe them? You know, how are you going to make sure that their clothes are up to date? They don't get picked on for wearing hand-me-downs or something like that. How do you make sure that they're happy, that they have everything that a kid would ever want? You know, you can't do it. And it's very unfortunate, you know, but you still have a family anyway because you love each other. And you want that struggle. You know, you want that challenge. You want to be a mother. You want to be a father. So you go for it. And yeah, it's a challenge. It's never easy. But guys, when it's over said and done, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. It really is. You know, you might not be able to send them to college, but I've seen some poor folks produce some bright young children that went on to make some really great people. Went on to do some great things because they didn't want to be in poverty anymore. And they take care of their parents now. You know, and it's because poverty is days without proper food. It's, you know, it's going with nothing but tap water. It's, you know, budgeting the toilet paper. You know, there's so many aspects of it. You know, feeding the dog scraps at the end of the day so you can save dog food. You know, yeah, I understand that. When you love somebody, you make love with each other, you're going to produce a child. You know, and when that child comes into this world, it's not their fault you're poor. But when you sit back and you work your butt off and that kid sees it, you instill in him a work ethic and a drive to be better. You instill into him ambition because you struggle so hard to have something better for yourself than what you had beforehand, a family. Because nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to be married to somebody that doesn't want to have children for too long. Eventually, everybody is going to want to have a kid. And even if you don't want to have kids, guess what? If you're doing the horizontal mambo, it's going to happen. You know, a junior or a little Missy is going to pop out of there eventually. You know? Pardon me. So you got to be careful, guys. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But to say that it's selfish for them to bear children is just wrong. You know, I could say the same thing about rich folks. It's selfish for them to bear children because then the country can't get that money back. They can't put it back into the people. Instead, now it's got to go to some spoiled rich kid who probably doesn't even appreciate a dime in his life because it's just all been handed to him, you know, and he doesn't even know what it means to earn a thing, you know, and that, so I could say the same thing about rich folks, unfortunately, but I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't do it on for any other reason than for explanation. Excuse me, I stuttered a little bit there. But anyhow, guys, we're only at 10 more minutes left on the topic, and then we'll get to hanging out. All right, guys. But we're probably gonna make this maybe more than a 1-part episode, because guys, in order for me to be able to sometimes take and sustain my family, I have to go hunting, and in order for that to be successful, I have to be successful in the hunt. It's not I want to get a kill. It's I need to get about 2 or 3 kills so I can make sure that we have food throughout the year, so that we don't have to go buy meat. When we get tired of pork, yeah, let's go buy some meat. But that's when you hope you get a deer and a hog, And then if it wasn't for the fact that the lady of the house is allergic to fish, I'd be catching a lot more fish. But the fish is going to go to feed me. So that's how that's going to work. Which, by the way, I got me some catfish in there. I got a barbecue. That's going to be some fun. Horizontal mambo. I'm glad you thought that was funny. Clint, why did you not get food stamps? I thought I made too much for it originally, because I make too much for indigent care for insurance. So I thought I made too much for food stamps, but I found out I make just about $50 below. So I'm setting up a ride to go get it because it's 50 miles. And I don't feel like walking 50 miles to have an interview and then walking another 50 miles back home. So I'm setting up a ride currently to go get food stamps. Until then, we've been able to take care of ourselves. But this has been our first rough year. I didn't get anything hunting this year. Last year, I got a 250-pound boar, and I got a couple of deer. So we had something to put in the freezer. But this year, I didn't shoot anything. We didn't see nothing. It was all moving at night because it was too hot. So that's why, 50 miles. That's why we ended up hitting hard times, guys. I didn't end up shooting anything. Next year, I'm going for anything and everything. If I see a squirrel, I'm freaking shooting it. But I'm going to get me a blowgun for that. And hope I haven't smoked too long for me to be able to use the blowgun. All right. Anyway, so yeah, it's no big deal, asking questions like, why don't I have food stamps? Things of that sort. But guys, I hate being on welfare. I might be a schizophrenic epileptic, but I think I can do something with my life. I hate being on welfare. My family wasn't even poor, but struggled. My father grew up poor with addict parents and swore us kids wouldn't grow up how he did. He still struggles with not thinking he makes enough. Man, I understand that Sent for Soldiers. I get that. And thank you for liking my hat, Samantha. When I'm able to get my merchandise store up and running, which I'm working on, we're trying to get a business lawyer to be where we can set it up right. We're going to have hats like this for sale. So we're going to be working on it. But I hope you guys will enjoy it when we find them. Hopefully they'll be cheap enough for us to buy about 50 of them, and we're going to put them up for sale. And then we're going to have t-shirts with my motto, and we're going to have other t-shirts for my Knights of the Holy Rose Sanctum. Guys, if you have joined the Knights of the Holy Rose Sanctum and y'all have seen the Discord, y'all please need to go there and check in with the general chat. Let us know who you are so that we can make sure you get a t-shirt. All right, guys? First 500 of y'all got a t-shirt. Which we're going to be doing, the first 500 people are going to be having a drawing, to see who gets t-shirts. We're going to draw a different name each and every time. And each time we draw a name, that person gets a t-shirt. And they get discarded. and then the next person gets drawn, and then the next person gets drawn. And I plan to try to do it every single video. So guys, if y'all want to enter in for the t-shirt contest for the Knights of Holy Rose Sanctum, remember you have to be subscribed to my channel, and then you have to put in for the t-shirts. Now also, all of my Knights of the Holy Rose Sanctum who order a t-shirt will get one extra free gift, which is something that's going to take a little bit of time. All right, guys? So y'all have to give me the time to do this. But every single Knight that's going to order a t-shirt is going to get a free walking staff. All right? If you order your t-shirt instead, you get a free walking stick that is hand carved by me. So I hope you guys would enjoy that. Every single one of them is going to be unique. You might have snakeskin on it. You might have a turtle shell on it. You might have leather and feathers on it. You never know. Every single one of them is going to be different. And that's basically, that's what I do. I'm an old world's craftsman, you know, and that's one of the ways I hustle. I do blacksmithing. I do wood carving. I do leather working. I make purses. You know, how you doing, Rock? Call us in the next 30 minutes. You didn't catch us too late this time. But yeah, we've got a lot of great ideas set up to happen, guys. We just got to get it going, you know. But we got about 4 more minutes left before we get into the hangout phase and the what do you guys think phase. But what's up, Winston? How you doing? But we are talking about life in poverty, Rock Williams. Yeah, guys, right now I eat once a day. That's all I get to. You know, guys, it's not that my friends don't allow it. It's because we physically can't afford it. You know, guys, as soon as my paycheck comes in at the beginning of the month, it's spent. All my bills take it up. I might have 25 bucks. You know, now that I got this RV and I've got a little bit more things to handle right now, you know, because I've got to take and pay for my Premodone this month. My Premodone is $50. And when you only get $347, 50 bucks is a lot of money, considering that it's another $50 for my phone bill, then $100 for my lot space. That's $200 right there. Then you include the gas money to be it for my dad to take me out to get my other meds refilled. Oh, good to see you here, Winston. Glad to know that you got it. I got to head out. Got to get up bright and early tomorrow. I'm definitely be back. I love your energy. Thank you, Simp. Thank you so much. We'll be happy to have you here at the Knights, brother. And I'm glad to see you're doing well there, Winston. Welcome in. Welcome in. You know, we're the Knights of the Holy Rose Sanctum. I'm Clint Gage, a.k.a. the Silver King. So I hope you settle down. We're a charity that's trying to get started. And I'm trying to do it through YouTube by spreading awareness about different problems throughout the world. Right now, I'm talking about issues with poverty. You know, and Shuck, you are awful. That is wrong, dog. Oh my God. Guys, my dog just farted. Shuck, you're terrible. Oh, wow. Sorry, guys. That could pale the paint off the walls. Have a blessed night to you, too. What would Jesus do? Levea, I guess is what your name is? I don't know what Jesus would do, quite frankly, because I'm not Jesus. But at the same time, I don't know what Jesus would do because I'm not Christian. I am pagan. So I thank you for asking the question, though, because it does bring up a philosophical point. What would a man of pure peace do in a situation like this? I think he would sit down, not judge, have a wonderful conversation with me, and then walk about his way. Oh, you talk about Shuck? Yeah, Ooh. Ha, Foxy. Thank you, sweetie. For everybody who's new here, please go and join the Discord if you want to, guys. We're the Knights of the Holy Rose Sanctum. Come check us out. But yeah, he would love first. That love would come with, like I said, sitting down, not judging, having a wonderful conversation. And when it was all over, said and done, we go our own way. You know, that is a loving thing. That is kindness. You know, he showed hospitality. He showed interest. And he showed genuine care. You know, so that's what I think Jesus would do. You know, because that's what Odin would do. There you go. We listen and we don't judge. That's exactly it. Drink about a gallon of water a day because of how hot it is around here. I just got scared by a tree. Oh, poor rock. Hey, I got an axe for you. You want it? But, and yes, Lavea, that's what I'm saying. Listen, not judge. You know, guys, because that's a wonderful thing. That's showing an open mind and an open heart. You know? And I believe that when Jesus Christ was real, he had an open heart and an open mind. I thought something huge was walking at me, but it was just a tree. Oh, poor rock. You're okay, though. You're okay. You know, I got 2 separate weapons you can borrow, Rock. You want that? Or you want the big mama? This is probably the largest sword I own. Definitely a beast, as you can see. I got this off of budk.com. You know, well, I got the design off of budk.com. I actually forged the blade myself. I got the handle off of another friend's site. But I got the blade idea from there, and I made it too big. I made it way too big. I have knives in my room. Is good. Hi, Ghost. How you doing? Can you eat this, Rock? No, you can't eat this. It's iron and steel and, you know, leather. Well, you might can eat the leather, but, you know, it's metal. But anyway, guys, I call that the car hood. But it's nice to see you in here, Frosty. How you doing? You just missed meds, man. You just missed them. But yeah, it's good to see Foxy and everybody here. I thought Frost was. I thought it was just a Discord, wasn't it, Frost? Right? It's just a Discord you had to leave, correct? Iron is good for the human body, right? But it's not good for the human teeth. Yeah, it was just a Discord that Frost had to get out of. But it's okay though, guys. We don't. If you don't want to speak about it, it's all on that. You know. Oh, right. I had forgotten. I just mentioned you left the Discord, sweetheart. I had forgotten you were still coming to the live streams. But anyway, it's still great to have you here, Frosty. It's so wonderful to have you in the show. And what's up, Sir Fly? I saw you a little bit earlier. You know, I just didn't get to say much. Oh, and Ghost, great meme for Jin Jin, by the way. You're leaving? All right, I'll check you later, brother. But yeah, great meme for Jin Jin. So I'll see you next time. Keep it spooky, bro. Oh, yeah. That's like asking to eat this. You can't eat this either, brother. That's solid steel. Turtle update. Turtle is doing just fine. She had about 3 earthworms today. I don't want to go mess with her because she's kind of resting. But as far as Genton goes, he's still being Genton. He's still little Genton. Oh no, that sucks, Rock. But yeah, I don't want to go get her because I don't want her little tummy to get upset. She is still a wild caught turtle, guys. So she's going to take a long time to acclimate, you know. And luckily, she's getting more and more trustworthy of us. She's actually coming out of her shell more and more. Hi, Sam. How you doing? Like I said, the whole reason why we took her out of the yard in the first place was because, guys, if she was left across the yard, she'd never make it across in time between all the dogs in the neighborhood, you know, and Shuck was trying to eat her in the first place, and so was Bella. So I had to get her to safety, guys. All right, man. See you next time. The Rookie. I've heard of that one. I'm doing good, Sam. It's good to hear that you're doing fine. Ooh, you have a cataract in your eye, Rock? That sucks. My dad had one in his eye. Yeah, I've heard of The Rookie, but I haven't seen it. I've actually been watching a series called Doomsday Bros on Tubi. I wouldn't recommend it for young kids, but it's definitely funny. All right, see you later, Sam. I've had it since birth. Ooh. Well, at least you've had it since birth, so you're kind of used to having it, you know, and it makes it a little easier on you. Yeah, how is everybody today, guys? We only got a few more minutes left in here. Well, we're at 37 minutes, so we're going for our hour. Yeah, I had a bit of a busy day today too. We had a lot of phone calls to make. Had a couple of shorts to throw out there. We lost a night. We lost the Emerald Night, you know, unfortunately. But you know, that's okay. We're gonna get another one. Can you explain what your wife's family accused you of and how you lost your kids? She didn't accuse me of anything. The judge just was like, you showed up without a lawyer, and because I had a flat tire and my lawyer didn't believe me, you know, but my mom had to come pick me up because of it. And because I showed up late, my lawyer dropped out. And when my lawyer dropped out, the judge was already in a bad mood. So he sided with her, and what she wanted was me to sign over my rights and still pay child support. And so she got what she wanted. That's all there was to it. I showed up late, and my lawyer dropped out. So I wasn't accused of anything. You know, it was just, other than being mentally unstable, which legally I am because I'm schizophrenic, but not unstable enough to not be able to take care of a child. I take care of myself and the dog. You know, my dog is actually very healthy and very, very beautiful. There's my big boy. There's my big Shuck. He's got one little spot right there on his hip where he ran into the fence while he was chasing a coon. But other than that, he's my good boy. So yeah. Oh. I'm positive, Samantha. Yeah, sure you do. Goodbye. All right, guys. So we had to get rid of a troll. You can't eat the dog. So we had to get rid of a troll, because I was never accused of nothing dealing with my children. What do you mean, all man? Oh, not being able to eat my dog? No, you can't eat my dog. Yeah, Trolls Bane had to come into action. But guys, the fact that you would come into somebody's chat and accuse them of something that had never happened, guys, that's just disrespect. Because I don't know anybody named Samantha. Never have met anybody named Samantha. So I don't even know who that girl was. I love you too. So there's no way she knew what really happened between me and my wife. Because my first wife and me literally we got divorced because we didn't work out. There are some trolls that are good and some that are bad. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I leave certain trolls in here, but when you mention stuff like my children, it kind of strikes an emotional chord with me because I really miss my kids and I never get to see them again, until they're old enough to want to see me themselves, and that's even if they want to, so that kind of strikes a chord and it hurts a lot. Because if I was accused of something, guys, don't y'all think I would have went to jail for it? No, Jose, no. Never touched him. Hell, I only got to see him one day out of the entire week, every single week. Because I wasn't allowed to live over at my in-laws' house. I wasn't allowed to live there. And so I only got to go over there one day a week. And I only got to see him for a couple of hours each week because it was the only time I had a ride. So yeah, we broke up because she demanded that I live in a separate house and raise the family anyway. And the whole reason why she did that was because her family wanted her to live in their home and not live with me. And the reason being was because they didn't like me. And I can't explain why they didn't like me. I was as respectful to them as possible. Yeah. I'll see you next time, Frosty. But no, I'd never hurt a child, guys. Never. That is sick, disgusting, and wrong. If I hurt a child, I would literally shoot myself for the disrespect that I gave to that child's parents and for the horrible trauma I would cause that kid. I would take myself out for that. That's honest truth. So just know, I'd never do something that disgusting. That is wrong, pathetic, and only done by weak individuals. Besides, why would I when I could just go out and get a real full-grown woman? Well, you're a good man, and even after what happened, you still got us to talk to and Jin Jin, and if stuff goes well, you can start a family with Jin Jin. I really wish I could. I can no longer have kids. I had an accident in basic training that made me become sterile. I crushed my manhood pretty bad. But thank you, Rock. Adoption is still a possibility. I don't mind adopting a kid at all. There's always children out there that need loves. Yeah, there's always kids out there that need someone to love them. For sure. And I'd take a kid in a heartbeat and take care of them. I'd call them my own, for sure. You know, I'd take a couple of them in, boy and a girl. You know, just like my family had. You know, heck, a couple of boys, a couple of girls, just so they got company. They won't drive each other fucking nuts. Excuse the language. You know, excuse the language. Sorry for cussing. I don't normally do that, but I'm telling you, when you got just one of each gender, they drive each other nuts. You got two of each gender, they go to war with each other and leave you alone. Oh, dang, I forgot I drank it all. All right. Well, guys, we got 15 minutes left. If it wasn't for the simple fact that it'd take forever to put my shoes back on and go back over to the house to get me more water, I'd be going and doing that real quick. But other than that, we're still sitting here with our shucker puffers. Yeah, we're still sitting here with our shucker puffers. He's been up here the whole show, just enjoying himself. Oh, he's finally getting down now, folks. Dander all over, hair all over my bed. We need to give you a bath, Shuck. I got a sister and we yell at each other a lot, but we chill sometimes. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, you're chill sometimes, but there's times you just want to pull a Homer and Bart Simpson and just strangle each other. You know what I mean? Because guys, when you're an uncle, what's up, Bryant's? But when you're an uncle, you know, you get bugged a lot. And yeah, I get bugged a lot by my niece over here. And I have to tell her constantly, sweetie, I'm on the phone. Or sweetie, I'm doing a live. Sweetie, I'm trying to do an application for something, you know. But she's constantly over here because she gets bored because her parents are doing their thing. I'm glad court went well for you. That's always good to hear, Bryant's. What up, Davey? I'm just here for a roll call. All right, Davey. How you doing, brother? You know, we're just chilling out for a little while longer. We got a little under 15 minutes now. You know, before I got to, you know, go on ahead and end the video because they'll still take a day and a half to upload. But anyhow, how's your afternoon been, brother? I'm sorry I didn't get to stay on your live. I was cooking, man. You seem to go live about the same time. Either I'm doing something or I'm in the middle of doing a live. We got to figure out a schedule where we can actually chill for longer than a few minutes on each other's lives. But I'm going to be popping in afterwards for the after show for a little while. Something I do with my friend that surprisingly works with anger of like getting annoyed with someone. We play a game and basically you hit someone's foot. Oh, see. Just see. But if that person gets your hand, they slap you. Oh, okay. Sounds interesting. I'd have to watch it. You ought to film it one day and put it on YouTube. I think it'd be funny. Yeah, put it on YouTube one day. We ought to all see it. Just you sit there being like, I hit your hand. Yeah. That would be some funny stuff. But guys, we're approaching the 10-minute mark, which sucks. But it is what it is. You know, guys, can't stay online forever, unfortunately. And not into the idea of people watching me sleep. I don't know how people let those sleep lives go by because I snore. Y'all don't want to see that. I drool. I don't want to show you that. In that case, I'll unlock the room for you so you can go into the recap. All right, brother. Thank you. You know, we're going to go in and do the recap for a good about 20 minutes or so. And I'm going to hop on with Jen for a little bit on the phone. Then I'm going to go to bed probably. But it's always good to see you guys. It's always great to have y'all here. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I don't know how to put it up on here, brother. That's why I have Foxy or Davey or Flying 90 put it up on here for me. You know, because they kind of know how to do that. I don't yet. I'm working on it. I think I have to have a secondary device to do it. And I don't have a secondary device. So when I finally get me a cell phone, I mean, not a cell phone, when I finally get me a laptop, then I'll be able to put it up on here for you guys. But for right now, I have no idea. You know, that's the only link I know, buddy. You know what? Go to Flying 90's page and at Flying 90 and go to his page, and there should be a link there that'll take you straight to the Discord. There's only one question you have to answer, Rock, and that's what's my dog's name. Which we've said it multiple times throughout the show, so I hope you caught it. Close. Put an S on there instead of a C. What's up, Moss? Moss too shifty? Oh, I'm doing great, man. Just sitting here chilling. Leave an S off the end, but put an S on the front. Just Shuck. You're good. It's based around the legend of the Black Shuck. Yeah, there you go. You got it now, Rock. That's the right name. Thank you, Shifty. But yeah, we're sitting here at 7 likes, guys. We got 7 people in the chat. Let's see if we can get just a few more likes, up to 10 before, you know, the end of the show. That would be preferable if we can. I'm dyslexic and I kind of just assume or add stuff. Oh, okay. I got you, Rock. That's fine. You know, I get what you mean. But with me, you know, words kind of jumble up a lot of times too. So I have to really focus a lot. But yeah, we're hitting 7 minutes, guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. If you've been watching this entire time, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon, guys. It's been a major pleasure sitting here talking to you as always. You know, we're probably going to get onto another video on this life in poverty thing. Because, guys, this might be a series of videos. You know, life in poverty is much harder than you would think, you know, and it's not glamorized like it is in a lot of Hollywood films. You know, they make it look really easy for you sometimes. Guys, it's not. You know, it's very hard to get out of poverty. And unless you have a trade or you have skills that people want, it's extremely hard to get out of that rut once you're there. You know, guys, so this might be a 2-part video. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. But we'll find out, you know? If you don't mind me asking, what happened? Oh, what do you mean what happened? Like what happened to me in getting into poverty? My grandfather died, and then my dad threw me out at 16. And when that happened, went all downhill from there, brother. I've been at rock bottom ever since, trying to work my way up. Finally got a place. You know, yeah, it's an RV, but it's a place. Oh, it's all good, man. You know, two ex-wives, some bad decisions led me here. You know, none of them super, drug related or anything like that. Just wrong decisions, man. Put me in debt, and now I'm doing the best I can after being labeled a schizophrenic epileptic by the U.S. government. Told me I was seeing things and hearing things, which I do see and hear things, but told me that it was schizophrenia, and I knew I had bad nerve problems. I didn't know I was an epileptic, but I'll believe the epilepsy part. I don't think I'm a schizophrenic so much as I just have some issues, See you later, Rock. Catch you on the next live, man. Have a good night. Thank you, Moss. Thank you so much, brother. Welcome into the show. We got 9 people in. We got 7 likes. Let's try to get about 3 more, guys. That's all I ask for, just 3 more likes. Even if you don't stay in through the show, just hit a like button. All right? So, if y'all don't mind, guys, we've got 4 minutes left. I really appreciate all of y'all being in here, especially all the new people, especially everyone who just subbed. Hi, Miss Primary Healer. We got 2 new subs tonight. Unfortunately, he called me at the last 4 minutes. But thank you for popping in for the show. Yeah, we talked about life and poverty tonight. We're going to be tackling it again. Probably it might end up being a series because there's a lot to unfold when it comes to life and poverty. All right, Moss. We'll see you next time. But yeah, there's a lot to unfold when it comes down to life and poverty. So we might be making it. Oh, it's 11 p.m. over there for you? It's 9:58 for me here. So it's almost 10 o'clock for me. And that's not too bad. 10 o'clock's a pretty good time frame here. I'm going to probably be on my Discord with the rest of my nights till about 10:25, 10:30, and then I'm going to hop on the phone with my Jin, guys. So finish out the night run. But anyway, we got about 2 minutes left. So about 2 minutes, 10 seconds left. So guys, I just want to thank everyone who showed up. I want to thank everybody who subscribed. We had some newbies, but we also had some good returning customers. Guys, we ended up with 8 likes. We didn't get 10 like we were hoping for. We only needed 2 more, but we didn't get them. That's all right though, guys. There's always next time. There's definitely a lot more to unfold onto this topic. So I hope you guys do show up for the rest of the videos. We're going to be doing Morning Mojo again tomorrow with Jin, and afternoon hangout as well. And then we'll be coming in again with Final Thoughts tomorrow night. We just got to figure out if we're going to be doing our life and poverty, or we're going to do another subject and then go back to life and poverty part 2. That's going to be up to, me. So I'll definitely check you guys then. We're down to the last minute though, guys. So I absolutely love all y'all showing up here. Y'all are 100% great. Y'all help make this channel worth being a channel. Guys, we're almost to that monetization mark. We only need just a few hundred more, or only need about 2,000 more before we'll make it there. Guys, so let's keep it up, and thank you all for showing up one more time. Just because I can't express it enough. You guys are the backbone of this entire, company, YouTube. You guys are its very backbone. But remember, take care of yourself. See you from the swamp. Later from a gator. Love your mama. Love your papa. Love yourself. Be kind. And always find a way to help, guys. So, check you later. Next time.